The fastest growing jobs didn't exist a few years ago. That trend is likely to continue. How do you think we should prepare for that? Do LEP board members have an informed view of the future? And if not, what's to be done? Broadband or bridges, funding or flare? I don't think the choices are quite that stark. How do LEPs prove their worth by 2015?
You look at something like Hull, or you look at Northampton example where they're really well funded, or you look at Coventry and Warwickshire, you've got big names and they've got good single propositions. Hull, right, renewable energy, chuck us money at that, and that depends of course on government. Coventry, Warwickshire, Land Rover, Jaguar, give us a load of money. Buckinghamshire and Thames Valley, where's your big proposition?
Politicians get good sound bites from LEPs who've got big propositions like Land Rover and the rest of it. The real problem is that 85-90% of businesses in the UK are SMEs that employ few people. So the only way to fire the economy is to get the 2- and 3-man business up to 10-man business.
Businesses generate wealth, they generate the added services, and LEPs aren't really involved in that. What we're involved with is two types of intervention. One to level the firm, so that might be making sure the skills are available and there's finance available and all that sort of stuff. And secondly is at the level of the environment.
LEPs need to think seriously about how they encourage strategic economic leadership of place and how they encourage a sort of entrepreneurial cultures in public policy and practice.
You were talking about funding. It's, are there businesses around here that actually have money they can't invest anywhere because there's no rate of return for them? Because there are some very rich businesses, whether it's in Bucks or whether it's down by Heathrow, there's loads of money out there because we don't go banks anymore to borrow, we go to the bond market and people throw money at us because they've got nowhere else to invest it.
Our LEP was formed, about 12 of us got together, stuck our hands in the pocket, created a fund of about 100 grand, said, when we weren't given a LEP, said, well, we're not prepared to be ignored, we'll do our own thing. So we created something called Bucks Business First. We then went to the county council and said, we're up for investing in our community.
It's about the LEPs helping itself or the organisations in the local area together, bringing SMEs together, for example. It's convincing the organisations that if they contribute to this strategy, because there's no new money to incentivise, it's convincing that it makes sense for all of us to invest in that joint strategy.
We get hoisted by government rules because we borrow some money from them now. We used to get a lot in grant from them. We get very little now and get the red tape. And I think if Bucks can, if this LEP can find a way of being free from some of that red tape and finding their own way, it'd be great.
The experience in Europe alone demonstrate a direct correlation between investment in digital infrastructure and quality of public service.
There was one day our broadband dropped off 25 times when I was trying to send big documents. It was so bad and it had a deadline. And I get in the car, drive to Birmingham and stay in a hotel overnight to be able to upload the documents. That's how bad it is.
So that is totally unacceptable in the global power in the world, isn't it?
Yes.
We want to bring manufacturing back, but we don't have the skills to actually bring the manufacturing back because we've lost those skills. Worse than that, we've lost the people who could teach those skills as well. And so out there in the, in that small business community, there is such a lack of knowledge. There is an assumption in government at other levels that small businesses have knowledge that they actually don't possess. They're so busy working all hours God sends to keep the business going, they don't have time to come out and look round and say, oh, we can do this, we can do that.
We've now ended up with, quite sparse support at the level of the firm, and that's why, when we didn't have a LEP, we went straight to let's help businesses get on with stuff.
I do think there's a debate to be had of the balance between LEPs as principally about influence or principally about about delivery. Timeframes for doing this thinking is in order to have a compelling narrative for an incoming government in 2015. It cannot be 39 compelling narratives, it has to be a smaller number. Not everyone thinks LEPs are the only game in town. In fact, there's a very large number of people across a whole range of constituencies, business, government, local government, etc., who think there are a number of games in town.
You're not setting your own agenda because you know that the money's coming in with ties to it, with the putting the weight together to actually say, look, we need to set our own agendas within our own areas. You know, we are different from Black Country, but that doesn't mean we're any less important.
I get concerned the focus is so long term, and is it the responsibility, or do the LEPs have any responsibility for the short term, for the low hanging fruit that is sitting out there?
Well, we need more entrepreneurship in policy and infrastructure development. And entrepreneurship is about pace, it's about momentum. Anybody to go away to think that we think we're better than everyone else, because we're not. We struggle as much as every other LEP with all of this. You warm to us because we're so much more in the business end of life, and so it all seems to make more sense to you. But there are other areas where we really struggle, and other LEPs have got nailed.
I'm absolutely astounded how dynamic you are compared to mine. Innovative, and it's a revolution compared to ours. I think you're doing a great job. Do you want to come on with me?